All right, guys, we're the Two Bearded Guys here with a really cool event. I'm TBG_Ops Guy.
My dog, B&Q.
We're here in collaboration with our good friend Ugly Pete from Big Pete's Seasoning, who's cooking us up some fantastic food.
Oh, super exciting event tonight. So we picked out about 6 different beers. Ugly Pete chose a couple different extra beers. And we said, hey, Pete, make some food to pair with these beers.
And we're going to have everything from starters to a dessert.
And you really, honestly, it's a great time of year to do this sort of thing because you got the holidays coming up, you got New Year's, you got, football playoffs and sporting events. So need dinner ideas. Here you go.
All right, so we have Olentangy River Brewing Company, Carve Your Path, Lewis Center, Ohio. All right, 9.6% ABV. This is a Belgian Aloha, Belgian triple with hibiscus, French Belgian ale that's rosy, bubbly, and strong on the finish.
Perfect. And looks like we're going to pair that with an asparagus dish using Big Pete's Sizzle. It's pork and sassy southwestern cousin. Pete, what can you tell us about this?
So the Sizzle is a fantastic pork rub or chicken, and it's going to add a lot of chipotle flavors to it. So with the Triple Belgium, we have the asparagus and the bacon and those chipotle flavors to just counterbalance that hibiscus that you're going to get from that drink.
Excited.
And then there's a little bit of homemade pesto there as well.
All right, I'm going to take a drink real quick, see
Oh, yeah.
how this lovely pairing works out. It's not a bad
Ooh.
beer. I like that that little bit of hibiscus flavor it cuts down on that Belgian yeast a little bit.
No, I think that I like the chipotle with the hibiscus. I think that does pair well.
I think it pairs pretty well. I think the hibiscus is a little strong. It kind of washes the flavors out a little quicker than I'd like. But the food, I love that seasoning you put on it. On second sip and eat, it works perfect. It doesn't overpower. All right, guys, we're starting off with this one with Quaffon Brewing Company's 6-Foot Strawberry Blonde. American Blonde Ale brewed with strawberries out of Brown County, Indiana. And it is, I'd tell you what the ABV is, but I can't find it.
Yeah, fair enough. And also, our wonderful salad here has everything but the meat. You bring the meat, we bring the flavor. Pete, what do you tell us about this one?
Yeah, so that is a dish that my wife makes a lot. It is our strawberry salad. It has almonds, strawberries, and your romaine lettuce. It has grilled chicken. The salad dressing uses our pesto, which uses the everything but the meat, and the chicken is seasoned with everything but the meat. So it's a full dish that uses the seasoning in multiple different ways.
Beautiful. It's a pretty looking salad. It is, following up a big bite with some of the chicken in it with that just light strawberry blonde.
Yeah, the strawberry blonde works really well with this salad because neither thing's overpowering the other.
Right. It's subtle enough that it's working well.
Pete, how many different seasonings do you have now?
So we currently have 7, and we're on track to have 9 released by the end of the year. It is our steak night, everything but the meat, porkin' and sizzle. And then after that, we have released our 2 seafood seasonings, which we'll have paired tonight is low tide and high tide. One is for very light fish, and that's high tide, and then low tide has a little bit of Cajun spice to it. So use that for a lot of shellfish and things like that. And then we have our Chili King seasoning, which we're very proud of.
And where can someone find these seasonings right now, Pete?
Yeah, so you can find them right now through Bardell Seafood, Books and Brews, Piazza Produce, or you can go to our website, bigpetesseasoning.com.
Our next beer is Liftoff by Daredevil Brewing Company here in Speedway, Indiana. Bounty of American hops deliver the signature clean and crisp finish of a perfectly balanced West Coast style IPA. We did a 1-minute review of this recently, so you can find that on YouTube and on TikTok.
And we're coming back to the Sizzle, pork and sassy southwestern cousin, because we got some chicken wings. Pete, what's going on?
Yeah, so we have 2 wings here. Both wings have a base of sizzle. So the wing on the right there, John, and
You're right.
yeah, right to the camera, is is just sizzle. It just has olive oil and sizzle on it. The other one has jalapeno, garlic, butter, and Parmesan. And it was tossed in that. So what you're going to find when you eat a garlic Parmesan wing, if it's super garlicky, you're not getting the flavor from real garlic. It's usually garlic powder. If the garlic is super bitey, then they didn't cook it in the garlic. They just threw garlic on it. So it's fresh garlic cut up.
Okay.
This should be a little mix between the garlic was cooked down with the jalapeno and the butter, and then tossed in it. So it's going to be have a softer garlic flavor, but you get the heat from a little bit of the jalapeno, and then the Parmesan is what it is.
And we paired that with the IPA because
It's kind of IPAs are going to tear up your palate. So eating a hot food with it is going to allow you to enjoy both of those, the beer and the food, at the same time.
oh yeah.
We found that people that are judging are looking for more spice, heat, and like that chipotle flavor, and that's what Sizzle brings. If you're looking for your normal rub for pork and chicken, that's where Porkin comes in. It still has the smokiness in it, but it also has the sweet end of it.
The sizzle here, what it does is it provides a little bit more complexity of flavor to it, with just a little more depth. I really like that. And with an IPA, and especially the Daredevil, which has a good malt body, getting some of those kind of nice citrus, but still piney flavors in there.
Sorry, I was eating.
Yeah.
Both are fantastic. I do love the combo between the IPA and the meat, but that's something we've kind of talked about on the show as well. IPAs and good hearty meats tend to work well together. I need to use my sizzle. I still haven't opened mine.
I don't have a sizzle, but I'm going to get one.
I've used my others, but I haven't used sizzle.
I've been using Low Tide a lot.
See, I still haven't got the fish ones yet.
Yeah.
I need to as much fish as I make. All right, next in our lineup of two fat guys having way too much fun eating and drinking is Grand Junction's 1520 Hefeweizen, 5.5% ABV, the first Hefeweizen that John and I have ever liked.
Yeah. Yep.
So actually, really, that's the whole reason this got chosen for this event was Hefeweizens are great to cook along next to, and also we hate them, and we found one that we liked. So Grand Junction out of Westfield, Indiana.
And we have a scallop dish. Pete will go into more, but we're pairing it with Big Pete's Low Tide, a spicy fisherman's delight, a seafood seasoning with a Cajun twist. Pete, tell us about it.
Yeah, so we have the scallop, for one thing, and here in Indiana it's hard to find fresh seafood, and Bardell Seafood does a fantastic job. They bring in fresh seafood every other day from Florida. He has trucks that drive down there back and forth. It's amazing. So that's where we got the scallops from. What it's sitting on top of is a twist on bruschetta. Instead of regular onions, we use the pickled onions in there that we were supposed to have on another dish, but we forgot to put it in there on the salad. Now, I've not had this Hefeweizen. Is this more banana or clove forward?
It's banana clove forward instead of the orange coriander, but it's not, as we decided, it's not a super heavy banana clove.
No, it's really clean, really crisp. A nice, clean flavored beer that has just a little bit of that banana clove taste to it that's not overpowering like some can be.
Yes.
While having just a really clean, well-made feel on the mouth. So some will call it a mouthfeel. And to go along with this right here just now, it's unbelievable. The bruschetta is fantastic. And then I'm excited. The food's stupid good right now.
Well, and I forgot to put in there, once again, another staple in our house. We use it in everything. Everything but the meat is what we use to season the bruschetta. Instead of just using salt and black pepper and things, that really has a good balance, and that's why we tend to use it in a lot of dishes. It tends to meet the needs of a lot of the side dishes as flavor.
The scallop's light. The flavor of the seasoning really has a chance to pop. especially next to the bruschetta. I think it works really well. And then you pair it with this beer. You nailed it. For a guy that hadn't even tasted this beer before, he kind of nailed the pairing on this one.
Oh yeah, no, and the body of the beer does super well with this dish. Flavors are subtle enough, just enhances just right.
So our next beer up is Field's Night Game Dunkel Lager. The Dunkel style lager is bursting with a complex blend of caramel, coffee, and chocolate notes, perfectly balanced with subtle hops. With the rich flavor of a dark beer and the light feel of a lager, this is a refreshing dark beer, perfect all year round at 4.7%. Field is out of Westfield, Indiana.
And it's going to be paired with 2 seasonings from Big Pete's. Number 1, the steak night, date night, just got better. And then number 2, everything but the meat. You bring the meat, we bring the flavor.
So what we have here is steak night is obviously used on the steak. This is your everything kind of beef seasoning. Imagine Lowry's, but actually good. So it's lower sodium content, so it's really meant to just bring a lot of flavor. And you may, if you like your food a little more salty, you'll probably have to add some salt because a lot of our seasonings are in the low end of the salt spectrum. Everything but the meat is used in 2 portions of this. The ugly potatoes underneath that taste fantastic but are hideous. And it's in the chimichurri as well.
Oh, okay. The tang from the chimichurri with that jalapeno is such a great addition. You have the richness of the potatoes, that big heavy carb. You got the richness from that red meat that's cooked, by the way, gorgeously.
Wonderfully, yes.
Yes.
The juices, all that stuff. You have a lot of richness. And that chimichurri brings out that little bit of tang, that little bit of another flavor to balance it out. You add in the light beer.
Sweetness.
The light beer that has that little bit of chocolate, little bit of caramel notes. It really works out really well. Our next beverage is from Sun King Brewing. This is their Delta 8 Lemonade Seltzer. 0 alcohol, 0 calories, 0 sugar, but 10 milligrams of Delta 8 THC in each can.
And we're going to pair that with the Big Pete seasoning High Tide. It's just really, it's a fisherman's delight.
Pete, you want to tell us what we're eating here?
Yeah, so once again, it's a fantastic fish from Bardell Seafood. It's a fish that I've never had before. It's called strawberry grouper. And it is absolutely beautiful before it is cooked. I'm going to bring some fish over here. But look at the skin on it with the pink and the browns, and it's just gorgeous. We use the High Tide in this dish for one reason. It's a great cut of fish, and High Tide is supposed to help bring out the natural flavors, but you don't want to overpower the fish. This fish also, you don't want to cook it too long, and so a lot of people will tend to overcook fish, and they're like, ooh, it's flaky, I'm falling apart. It's nice that it's flaky, but when it's falling apart, it's like a medium well steak. You've cooked it too long.
So you're going, what, 125? Where are we at?
Yeah, there's where you want, and treat it like a steak. Let it sit for a minute. Don't just fire right into it. Now, the base is a roasted red pepper and garlic, just sauce. It's meant, the Delta 8 is a lighter flavor, and the fish is light in flavor, and then you can use the sauce to bring out a ton of flavor on top. So that's why the sauce is underneath. So you can use depending on how much you want, you can dip your fish in there more or just use it to accent the natural flavors.
Yeah.
And I've been looking forward to this dish all night, not only because of the fish, but I don't drink alcohol anymore. So this seltzer is very interesting to me from the standpoint that it falls right into a category that I might learn to like.
And they have a couple different flavors. They've got the lemonade, they've got a peach. I know they have the original, and I think they may also have a watermelon.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. So in this little sifter glass, I've not had a drink all night. So The smell is way different than the taste. I will say the smell out of this glass is not something that I really care for, but the flavor I really like.
Flavor's great.
Yes, but when I first fired in there, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like that, and then the taste is just fantastic.
Big gulp on the seltzer was fun.
Yeah.
I like the flavor on it.
I like the lemon flavor in it. It's a seltzer, so it's a lot of bubbly there. There's kind of a seltzer metallic flavor in there. I see where you're coming from with that, but
Definitely a new spin for Sun King, right? Not something they're known for. It's kind of cool that they're coming out with these, and I enjoy them. And when you're not drinking alcohol, if you're not wanting to drink a ton or you're not wanting to drink at all, you don't drink anymore. It's a great way to still enjoy a beverage with your buddies and still have some fun. The food-wise, really enjoyed the strawberry grouper. I was trying to remember what the fish was. That was the pause.
yeah.
So our next beer is from Fountain Square Brewing Company, Backyard Porter. Campfire-like aromas precede a creamy texture with a mocha and toffee undertone finish. Fountain Square is out of Indianapolis, Indiana.
And the Big Pete seasoning that we're using, it's a doubler in this one. Everything but the meat once again. And for the first time tonight, porkin. Your everyday,
It's for pork and chicken.
your everyday meat rub.
That's right.
And what do we have here? This looks fantastic.
Yeah, so another hidden gem in Indianapolis is Nicole Taylor's Pasta and Market. And I found this on accident. They make fresh pasta every day and you can buy it by 4-ounce increments. And so I got this pasta from them yesterday. So it's almost fresh. It's a day old. With a bechamel sauce made with, better known as mac and cheese, guys, but fancy sauce. It's a bechamel sauce, but we use our new favorite cheese in this house. It's called Grand Cru, and Grand Cru it's actually called an Alpines, High Alpines Grand Cru. What does that mean? I have no idea. The cheesemonger at Kroger led me onto it because she said it's a fantastically melting cheese and it doesn't break the sauce. So that's what we have there. The pork was smoked to 165 and then wrapped. And I just threw a garbage beer that I had in the fridge. I threw a Stella in there, and just to keep it keep moisture in there while it's wrapped up, and then brought it up to 210.
That is fantastic. As you can tell by mine's gone.
And pairing it with the porter, which has a nice little campfire smoky flavor to it.
It works really well in the pairing. The onions were a great addition on top. Gave it a little bit of crunch, a little bit of that tangy flavor to go along with the richness. That is that, for layman's terms, mac and cheese. And then that pork with a little bit of smoke, a little bit of season. That all just works real well together. You get that richness, that tangy, that smoky. Pair it with a beer that has a little bit of that chocolatey, a little bit of smoke, a little bit of chocolate, caramel kind of body, and it really makes everything blend well together.
Ah, that's fantastic too.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Oh,
Fat baby.
yeah, that might be the fastest I've eaten anything today. That was
Now that's a
that
much
was tasty.
It's a much heavier dish. Give me that plate. I'm gonna try something here. It's a much heavier dish than what we've had all night, and I didn't want to throw that at the beginning of the night, especially with the porter and the cheese and the pulled pork. It would bring, it would dumb down a lot of the fish that we had tonight because it's going to be a lot stronger flavor.
How many seasonings do you have right now?
We have 7 right now. We will have 9 by the end of the year. We have our OG pack, which is sizzle, porkin', steak night, and everything but the meat. And then we have our 2 seafood seasonings, high tide, low tide, and Chili King to wrap up that total package. We will be having our taco night seasoning released, and margarita fajita is coming out.
Oh, fantastic.
After eating as many items that used his seasonings as we did tonight,
Yeah.
that just makes me more excited for the next batch, what's coming next, all that kind of stuff.
On your social medias, if you follow Big Pete Seasonings, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, he will always post on there the different things that he's cooking, the way he's incorporating his seasonings into things. does a fantastic job. So if you need a good dinner idea, or you got an event coming up, you're expected to wow some guests, definitely follow Big Pete Seasonings for all those different ideas.
Yeah. So thanks again, Pete. This has been a lot of fun, dude.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely.